They say chivalry is dead. I don't know about that, but it just might be on life support. And here's the thing, being a gentleman is about more than what you're buying. It's about who you're becoming. I want to talk about the genesis of a gentleman and the strength of what it takes to be gentle. I'm mic'd up. Join me and let's mix it up. How you doing? How you living? How's it going? What's happening? I hope you're doing well. Hit the thumbs up button on this video, family. Hit the thumbs up button on this video. Come on, family. Drop some light bulbs in the chat. Yeah, come on. Drop some light bulbs in the chat. Let's light it up in here. Let's light it up. Let's light it all the way up. Let's take it all the way up. You are the light of the world. Let's stay lit. We too lit to quit. Light it up, family. Drop some light bulb emojis in the chat because it's going to be an illuminating conversation. Ain't no doubt about it. We're talking today about the genesis of a gentleman, the strength to be gentle, the strength of being gentle. That's what we're talking about, family. So, as you're hitting that thumbs up button, be sure to also hit the subscribe button. Yeah, I don't want you to be a ghost follower at all. Hit the subscribe button. Genesis of a gentleman. You know, I realize this. Being a gentleman is about how you treat and respect yourself first and initially before you're ever in the presence of a woman. Being a gentleman is about more than dates and gifts and things of that nature. It's not about what you're buying, it's about who you're becoming. And here's what we always hear, probably more than ever before. That is, chivalry is dead. And contrary to popular belief, I'll go on and argue and say chivalry is not dead. It may be on life support. It just might be. Because when you think about this, when did opening doors, when did treating someone with respect, when did being kind to someone, thinking about someone other than yourself, stop being the norm? When did the quality of strength become that which is deemed to now be soft? Because here's the thing, misogyny and chauvinism seems to outshine chivalry these days. And here's what we have to do. Come on, family, type gentleman. Type gentleman. I want to talk to the real gentleman. I want to talk to even the gentle women. Yeah, gentlewoman. Gentlemen, we want to talk about it. We got to make being husbands, we got to make being fathers and leaders and mentors and scholars and gentlemen great again. So we have to. Because here's the thing. We use that term gentleman loosely. But one of the qualities of manhood is gentleness. One of the fruits of the Spirit is gentleness. Yeah, that's one of the fruits. Where am I at spiritually to where I'm rooted to where now I can bear fruit? That's one of the roots. That's one of the fruits, rather. Brother, Is gentleness one of your fruits? Is gentleness one of your qualities? Is it one of your characteristics? Is it one of your attributes? My dear sister from another mister, is that man gentle? Does he talk to you in a way that is harsh? Does he demean you and talk down to you? No emotional intelligence at all. Are you doing that to him? Woo! Talking about you want the soft life. How can you expect the soft life if you make a man's life hard? It's tight, but it's going to be all right. A gentleman is one who personifies strength and gentleness in his character. Genesis of a gentleman emanates from his connection to God. He has an understanding of self. He values that which he brings to a relationship. And so, guess what? He's got kind acts of chivalry. In his level of communication is going to be respect. He knows how to treat a woman the right way, talk to her the right way, exercise emotional intelligence the right way, simply because it is rooted in his kingly character. Come on, family, type character. Character is not just who you are when everybody sees your character, it's who you are when nobody is around. Character is not just who you are in the daytime with a flashlight, it's who you are without a nightlight. Right? So, in his character, that of a king. And if you've been sticking and staying with me at all, you understand that I've mentioned that king means keenly intelligent, noble gentleman. What does this mean to a brother to be a gentleman if he has lacked love throughout his life? Because we can't take for granted that everybody was raised on love. Some people were raised on survival. And literally, it was survival of the fittest. The only strength he knew about, the only strength that sometimes us as men even ingratiate, much less embrace, is the strength to subdue, the strength to dominate, the strength to be competitive, not the strength to grow, not the strength to learn, not the strength to love, not the strength to lead, not just the strength to collaborate and connect and communicate. What does this mean if you never saw a gentleman present in your home? What does this mean if you never really saw love in your home and in your community and in your relationships? Much less or much more even in your own life. Because here's the thing, as men, we know how to be tough. No doubt about it. We know how to be tough. But who will teach us to be gentle? Family, type gentle. Gentle. The genesis of a gentleman. We know how to be tough, but who will teach us how to be gentle? Because my definition for man, a man manages, a man maintains, a man manifests, a man uses God's manual, a man does not allow himself to be manipulated. A man also is a mature, assertive nurturer. Here's the thing about nurturing. Maturity. When I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things, as Paul, the Apostle Paul, mentioned. Right? It is the maturational development. It is growth from one particular level to another particular level. It is putting certain things aside. It is cultivating my character. It is me being purposefully present. Assertive. I'm not passive, I'm not aggressive. Both are extreme. Not passive aggressive either. I'm assertive. I don't have a wishbone, I have a backbone. I can stand up for myself. These are my principles. These are my standards. This is how I expect to be treated. This is how I expect to be talked to. This is how I'm going to live my life. This is how I'm going to live with a level of emotional intelligence. Because if you're not bringing peace, peace. You see that? Nurturing is something that is not necessarily predicated to us as men, but is a quality that we must exude. It is a quality that we must adopt. You wouldn't handle a baby the same way that you would handle bricks. Tenderness and toughness can both coexist. You need both, bruh. You need both. Be able to be strong and soft at the same time. Be able to be a man who is gentle, both at the same time. That's a delicate balance. That's not tiptoeing through the tulips. That's a tightrope right there. That is something that we have to urgently and fiercely engage and develop in our matured, refined, defined stage. We know how to be tough, but who will teach us as men to be gentle without seeing gentleness as femininity? Without being gentle, without seeing being gentle is that which is someone who is effeminate. No, you can be all man and be gentle. That's what we're talking about. The genesis of a gentleman. The strength of being gentle. Generally, our view of being gentle is seen as delicate, it's seen as fragile, it is seen as weak, it is seen as soft. Yes, even as I just said, that which is deemed and castigated to be feminine. And here's the thing, a skewed view of masculinity often perpetuates toughness. It perpetuates a lack of emotion. It perpetuates it perpetuates unending competition. Here's the thing. Being polite doesn't mean you're a punk. Yeah. Exhibiting strength to love doesn't make you soft. Got to recognize that, because it is about growing to another dimension. Family, type growth. Type growth. I love seeing all the badges in the chat. I love seeing all the badges in our YouTube channel. Notice I said our. It's our YouTube channel. And you can go ahead and get a badge. Reason why it's so colorful in here, because people have purchased badges. Our community, our Eagles, our family, whatever aspect that you are in, they have purchased badges. And so I want you to let me know it's real by getting a real badge. Come on, go ahead. Tap the join button on this YouTube channel. You can subscribe at any of the 3 tiers: VIP, Royalty, OQP. You're VIP. You're a very important person with a very important purpose. Royalty, King, Queen. Your royalty demands loyalty. OQP, only quality people. You up with OQP? Yeah, you know me. I want you to let me know too. Go ahead, get a badge. If you're not a member of our Eagles community, listen, it's time for you to take that flight of faith. It's time for you to take that flight with your focus, with your fervor, with the purpose of what it is that you have. You want to grow? You're tired of being where you are? You know there's more for you? Let me show you how to level up in every particular area of your life. I want you to go right now to theeaglesacademy.com. Why would I want you to go there? Because it's an opportunity for you to join my group, coaching, teaching, training, masterclasses, sessions. It's where I go further and farther than where I go here. Go right now to theeaglesacademy.com. When you get there, tap the Join Now button, fill out the form. I guarantee you'll be transformed. All aboard, take flight, soar with us. Talking about the genesis of a gentleman, family. Let's keep it 100. When I talk about all of these particular qualities of what a gentleman is all about, I didn't always think like this. Don't get it twisted. A lot of growth that I had to undertake. Keep it 100. Growing up, I thought all of these things that I'm even mentioning now, that I'm talking about now, all these qualities, emphatically, I thought they were equivalent to being soft. My trust as a kid, as a teenager, was a young cat. Not that I'm not young anymore. Still am. My trust diminished. And I had an obstinate attitude due to the fact that my parents had divorced. Right? My father was absent throughout the adolescent years of my life, which does do damage to a child. Yeah, it leaves wounds. It leaves scars. Certain things you may never get over, you just have to manage. And so what did I do? I internalized that pain and I shifted into tough guy mode. Or at least I thought I was. Got into my fair share of fights for sure. Simply because I was angry, and to a certain degree I didn't know why. Because I did not address the root cause of my attitude. I did not address the root cause of my anger. And so it was easy to go 0 to 100 real quick. It was easy to fly off the handle. It was easy to get into fights. It was easy to get suspended. It was easy to be the class clown. It was easy to get bad grades as a freshman in high school. Because you're trying to fit in when you're born to stand out. Oh, don't act like you had it all together. None of us come out the womb having it all together now. Yeah, you got a story too. But here's the thing. I had to get to a place of maturational development. I had to grow through some things. I had to discover, what is it in life that really mattered the most? Here's what I had to really get into the place of. Finding out and defining who am I really at my core. Had to do a deep dive internally and interpersonally. We're going to go to another level. Family, I got a special message in the midst of this special message. I want you to stick and stay. More is on the way. On the other side of this break is more breakthrough. After these messages, I'll be right back. Family, listen and lean in. Don't you think it's time to grow your greatness? No, seriously. It's just us talking. If you intend to soar, you need to visit theeaglesacademy.com/store. Why? Because I want you to join my mailing list. I want you to get all the solutions, the strategies, and the systems to write that best-selling book. You know it's in you. You know it's your time. Time to cultivate your communication skills. Develop, learn the art of communication. So much more. Visit theeaglesacademy.com/store so you can soar. Yes, y'all. And we don't stop. I need you to make sure that you heed to these resources that you've heard. Let's get back to the word. We're talking about the genesis of a gentleman. Yeah, the strength of being gentle. We're talking about that in the words of Langston Hughes. I can surely say life for me ain't been no crystal stare. Because here's the thing. When you really stare at the crystal stare that became nothing but shards of glass, you will see that certain things in your life fractured you. You'll see the shards of glass that oftentimes have cut you, have sliced you, have broken you into little pieces. If you had the movie The Color Purple on the screen here, I'd say just like Sophia, all my life I had to fight. I got some fighters who watching me right now. You fought through the storm, you fought through the rain, you fought through the trials and the pain. Certain things you had to fight through in order to become the real you. Growing up, yes, my mom was there for me. Love my mom dearly. But here's the thing. My mother was not my father. And as I was dealing with angst, as I thought being a gentleman wasn't where it was at all. I remember there were times when I was a kid, talking about knee-high to a duck. My mom we'd be going into the mall or we'd be going to the grocery store, whatever the case may be. And I'm, trailing behind her a little bit. This kid with high top fade and some Fila run balls or whatever the case may be, gym shoes, playing some type of video game, handheld video game. Mother would get to the door, and what she would do, she would stop at the door. And I'd look at her like, Mama, what'd you stop at the door for? She looking down at me like, I ain't going through this door until you open it first. I'm showing you, I'm teaching you, I'm raising a gentleman in my house. Right? Because I didn't necessarily get the training from my father. So my mom had to become what I didn't have. She could never be my father. But she did the best being the mother that I needed her to be, in the midst of her being a disciplinarian as well. Right? The man I looked like the most didn't come to my basketball games, didn't talk to me about girls or how to shave my beard or share the intangibles of what it meant to be a man, much more a gentleman. Never affirmed that boy or that man in me. And sometimes you find yourself in life searching for your identity in other people, searching for your identity in other things, searching for your identity in clothes and cars and shoes. When here it is, you have to get to the particular place where you reparent yourself. You have to put yourself in a place to where you allow yourself to be mentored by other positive male role models, female role models for my sisters, who are going to speak life into your life. They can't fill the void of you not having that particular father in your life or that mother, but they can be a surrogate. Family, type strength. Type strength. The places that have been so wounded, and the places that have cut you so deep, the places that you don't even want to talk about, and the things that hurt you so bad. I believe God is giving strength to the places that brought so much struggle. Here it is. Before you're ever able to be gentle with somebody else, are you willing to be gentle with you? Gentlemen, gentlewoman, are you willing to be gentle with you first? Are you willing to handle yourself with tender, loving care? Are you willing to handle yourself with grace? Are you willing to be good to you before you ever expect somebody else to be good to you? Who am I talking to? I hope is you. I got to move into that particular place of growth. Family, we're having a super conversation. I want you to drop a super chat, drop a super sticker, super conversation, super chat, super sticker. Here's the thing. If you don't handle yourself with grace, you'll always feel out of place. Because here's the question I want to ask you. What shows up when you show up? You can't fight what you refuse to face. You can't heal from what you won't deal with. Can't recover from what you refuse to uncover. You can't address what you won't confess. And I want to ask you, what shows up when you show up? Well, I'm not no thermometer, I'm a thermostat. But your actions reflect the fact that you are a thermometer. Yeah, your actions reflect the fact that you're a thermometer. Because whenever you show up, your attitude shows up. Whenever you come and you're invited to a particular outing or particular event, or you step into the room, the poor attitude shows up. And here's what happens. It changes the environment. When you show up, does trauma show up with you? When you show up, does gaslighting show up with you? When you show up, does manipulation show up with you? When you show up, does narcissism show up with you? When you show up, does a lack of emotional intelligence show up with you? When you show up, does jealousy and envy and strife that affects everybody else's life show up with you? Or does gentleness show up with you? Do the fruits of the Spirit show up with you? Love, joy, peace. Does kindness show up with you? Does long suffering show up with you? Does gentleness, does meekness show up with you? Does temperance show up with you? Because here's the thing. There's an emptiness and an itch that only purpose will scratch. I need you to hear me, my brother. As I've already told you before, God only gave a man a woman after he gave him work. Work always came before the woman. Emptiness is an itch that only purpose will scratch. Women won't feel it. Marriage won't feel it. Ooh. Children won't feel it. That hole that's internal. More likes and more followers on social media won't fill the void. Money won't fill it. Notoriety and clout and being a socialite and being at a soiree and having a bigger house and a bigger wardrobe, it won't fill it. Only being in purpose with God's divine assignment for your life. You being in divine alignment with God's divine assignment will develop you, will develop it. Too many times our problem is we're trying to make a dollar without making a difference. I need you to hear me. If you make a difference, you won't just make a dollar. You'll make thousands. You make hundreds of thousands, if not millions. And you have to know that you are priceless as a gentleman. Are you willing to be gentle with you? Because here's the thing. What do you do when you don't have what you thought you needed or what you felt you were so deserving of? Do you just continue to play the blame game? Do you just act so tough because the toughness really is a defense mechanism? People hurt your heart. You swore you'll never let anybody else get close to you. The abscess, the pain internally brought a lot of conflict and confusion to where you won't even seek mentorship from anybody. But here's what I know. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Men need mentors. Can't even spell the word mentors without men. Can't talk about mental health without men heal. And sometimes it becomes so hurting, it's so painful to you to where you won't even surround yourself with anybody else. You've adopted this me against the world type of mentality, but I want you to be gentle with you. I had to learn how to be gentle with me to where I place myself around positive male mentors who sowed seeds of strength into my life, who gave me wisdom and insight and revelation and direction. And I saw examples of them. Yes, how they love their wives, how they love their wife, how they raised their children, how they built their businesses. How they invested into their community, how they engaged in charitable acts of sacrifice, selfless love. Yeah, I've seen them. Put some respect on men's name out here now. Put some respect on men's name. A lot of unsung heroes out here. Just because they're not beating their chest, because they're not flossing all their money, just because they're not on TV, just because they're not on magazines and TV screens, does not mean that there are no good men out here. I've seen good men loving their wives. I've seen good men building businesses. I've seen good men, gentlemen, making an honest living. I've seen gentlemen mentoring in the community. I've seen gentlemen rehabilitating their life. I got gentlemen on speed dial. Hello, somebody. I've seen gentlemen making an indelible mark that can never be erased. Are you proud to say that you are the man who you are today? I don't know if anybody ever asked you that question. Are you proud to say that you are the king that you are today? My dear sister from another mister, are you proud to say that you are the queen, that you are the woman that you are today? Are you stronger? Are you wiser? Are you more resilient? Are you a gentleman? I got to shout out my grandfather. God rest his soul, Harry Smith Jr., such a tremendous influence in my life. Helped me to develop in my formative years, even in death. His life shaped the course of my life. Talk about my grandfather, devoted husband, father, teacher, civil rights advocate, a mentor, an athlete, a musician, a deacon, World War II veteran, decorated World War II veteran, and a gentleman. Really, think about it, the only father figure I really had. Remember, he taught me how to tie a tie as a boy. That's how I learned how to tie my tie. I can see myself in my basement right now. My grandfather's teaching me how to tie that tie as a kid. Never forget it. And so, part of my mentorship group, Boys to Books, that's one of the things that I do. It's a way for me to honor my grandfather. It's a way for me to steer young men in the right direction. So I help show them how to tie a tie, to be tied to success, to dress the way that they need to be addressed, or that they desire to be addressed. So he gave me invaluable wisdom to shape my life as a man. I'd walk through his home in Jackson, Michigan with my grandmother. God rest her soul as well. And not only him, but both of them would be singing. If I could help somebody as I travel along, if I could help somebody as I pass along, then my living will not be in vain. He was not only successful, but he was significant. Born with a heart murmur. He would drive hours and hours on end with his children, my mom being one of them, only to get denied from an employer who thought he might have been a white man based upon his name. Then when he'd show up in person, they will rescind the offer. Going through all of that, myriad of vicissitudinous trials and tribulations and situations, I saw how resilient he was. When life tried to beat him down, he didn't beat other people down. He built himself up. When you think about those type of men in your life who have come into your life, whether it's just words of wisdom, whether they led by example and they didn't say much, one of the most inspiring traits that I saw and I witnessed in my grandfather's life was how he treated his wife, my grandmother. How gentle he was with my grandmother. By no means was my grandfather weak. By no means was my grandfather soft. By no means was my grandfather docile. He was strong. And he constrained that strength with the power of meekness, with tender loving care. Quintessential gentleman. Always well dressed. Always had on a top coat. Always had on a top hat. His nickname for my grandmother was Angel. Listen, he called my grandmother Angel so much, I thought it was her real name. Her name was Maxine. Took me years to realize that was her real name because that's all he called her. Angel? That's what I hear clear as day. And he believed that my grandmother was that angel that God had gifted him, that God had sent him. And here's the thing, what my father didn't do for me, God sent other positive male role models and men like my grandfather to pour into me. I've talked about it before, that real men pour in. Real men are also gentlemen. And I know life is tough. I know life has beaten you. I know life has often disintegrated you down to even sometimes feeling like smithereens. But I want you to believe again. I want you to imbibe truth and love again. I don't want you to have such an impenetrable heart that you feel as if you can't start all over again. Yeah, I know she broke your heart. Yeah, I know you're dealing with father wounds and mother wounds. Yeah, I know life for you has not been a crystal stair. I know it seems as if you've had more battles than you've had victories. I know it seems as if the enemy has been breathing down your neck and it's just nothing but trouble after trouble after trouble. I know what it feels like when it seems as if you're taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps backward. But I believe God is going to double your progress. I believe if you allow him to speak to your heart, your mind, your soul, and your spirit, and if you imbibe that heart again to be that gentleman, even though you may not have seen the great example of one, now it's up to you to chart the course for your life. Now it's up to you yourself to reaffirm yourself, to refresh yourself, not to rehash the past, but to blast past the past and to love you, because there's greatness inside of you, bruh. That woman is waiting to love the gentleman in you, wants to love the king in you, because there's greatness that's on the inside of you. Come on, family. Just type love. Type love. One of the most courageous things that you can do is love you, despite the mistreatment that was exacted upon you. Because here's the thing. If you don't learn how to love you, somebody's surely going to teach you how to hate yourself. And you're too blessed to be stressed. You're too loved to be hated. Don't allow that self-hate to perpetuate your own life. And now it's time to live, love, learn, and lean in to the leadership that's within you, because you are a gentleman. Family, type the word gentleman. Come on, type gentleman. One of God's gentlemen. You're a genuine gentleman. There's joy coming out of you as a gentleman. There's greatness in you being a gentleman. There's gratitude. Adopting the attitude as a gentleman. It's your time to shine and show up. Because here's the time when you show up this time. What shows up when you show up? The gentleman ought to show up. What shows up when you show up? Love ought to show up. What shows up when you show up? Emotional intelligence ought to show up. What shows up when you show up? Greatness ought to show up. What shows up when you show up? A selfless disposition attitude ought to show up. What shows up when you show up? Gratitude, because that's your attitude. That ought to show up. Family, I want you to sow into this word that you've heard today. It's not as a debt that you owe, it is a seed that you sow. This is good ground right here, up in here, up in here. We've had a super conversation. I would that you sow via super chat, super sticker. Electronic. You can sow via electronic medium of Cash App, $Access Identity, PayPal, Zelle, EddieConnorJr at Gmail. The links are in the chat. The links are in the description of this video, to where you can click to sow. I want you to name your seed as you're sowing your seed. Maybe you're naming your seed inner work. Maybe you're naming your seed inner healing. Maybe you're naming your seed self-love. Maybe you're naming your seed greatness. Maybe you're naming your seed gentleman. Maybe you're naming your seed gentlewoman, because you want to be gentle with yourself. You can't expect anybody to be gentle with you if you won't be gentle with you. You surely can't expect to be gentle with anybody else if you're not first gentle with yourself. Life can be so tough. Life can be so hard. To where now we've developed such a hard disposition. But here's what you're doing. You're bearing fruit. And one of those indicators of the fruit is gentleness. Come on, family. You were called to bear fruit. It's your season to bear fruit. Your fruit shall not wither. Your fruit shall remain. Your fruit is not going to be rotten. Why? Because you're rooted in righteousness. You're rooted in love. You're rooted in joy and peace. And this is your time for greater increase. Maybe you're naming your seed fruit. Maybe you're naming your seed increase. I believe even as you're sowing, the harvest of what you've been expecting is coming. A harvest in your relationships expected. A harvest in your finances expected. A harvest in your mindset expected. A harvest with the book that you're writing expected. A harvest with the business blueprint that you're developing expected. A harvest in your house. A harvest in your home. A harvest in your marriage. A harvest. Your fruit shall remain because you're like a tree planted by the rivers of living water. You're rooted. Your leaf shall not wither, and whatsoever you do, it shall prosper. I speak prosperity over your life. I speak prosperity over the seed. That God will do 30, 60, 100-fold in your life, exceedingly, abundantly, and above all that you can ask or think, y'all. Come on, family. Type all. Not just anything, but all things. All things in my mind, all things in my spirit, all things in my home, all things in my house, all things in my finances, all things in my marriage, all things in my business, all things in my relationships. All things are possible to him or her that believeth. Thank you for sowing via super chat, super sticker into the super conversation. Thank you for sowing via Cash App, $ access to identity, via PayPal, Zelle, EddieConnorJr, Gmail. Links are in the chat. Links are in the description. Thank you so much, family. Listen, I want you to hit the thumbs up button on this live if you are not a member of our Eagles community. Family, what are you doing? Come on, it's time for you to grow. You know there's something deep within that's calling you to a greater level. You've been searching, you've been wondering, how do I manifest this? How do I take myself from where it is that I am to where I need to be? You need to get in the room. You need to get around the right type of accountability partners. You need to get around some eagles who are soaring. Come on, family, drop some eagle emojis in the chat. Eagles, empowered, authentically gifted leaders envisioning success. That's my acronym for Eagles. I want you to soar with us. I go further and farther than where I go here. I want you to be a part of my private group coaching, my teaching, my training, the masterful master sessions that are mind expanding, because a mind stretched by new ideas never returns to its original dimension. Guarantee you, join us in our Eagles community. You will not return to your original dimension. You're going to be stretched to go and grow to another level. Go right now to the eaglesacademy.com. Tap the join now button when you get there. Yeah, fill out the form, be transformed. The eaglesacademy.com, the eaglesacademy.com, the eaglesacademy.com. If you're not a part of our YouTube channel, family, tell me it's real. Show me it's real by getting the YouTube badge. Tap the join button. Be a part of Connor's Corner. Yeah, I have a lot of content in Connor's Corner that's not going to be on social media. It's not going to be in this YouTube channel here. It's for members only. Join our members area. Be a part of it. It's going to be absolutely riveting and amazing. Family, just type OQP. OQP, only quality people. Join our quality group in our YouTube channel. Family, In the Mix is out of time, but I'm not out of truth. And so I want to thank you for rocking with me. I want to thank you for riding with me. I want to thank you for rolling with me. Why? Because that's just how we roll. And we do that each and every single weekday, Monday through Friday, for In the Mix. Sure do. Right here on this YouTube side, I want you to hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button on this channel. hit the thumbs up button on our channel. It helps to grow our channel. Family, type hours. It helps to grow our channel. That's why we do this content for hours and hours and hours on end. That's why we have hours and hours and hours and hours worth of content right here. As you're hitting the thumbs up button, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Don't be a ghost follower. Hit the subscribe button so that you can be notified as you hit the notification bell as well of all the content when it drops. Follow me on all the social sites at EddieConnorJr, EddieConnorJr. Put some respect on my name, family. If I can help you, if I can serve you in any way, please reach out to me. Looking for a dynamic speaker? Look no further. I'd be glad, I'd be honored to empower you at your church, your conference, your community center, your school, your graduation, your college, your session. Invite me. Let's make some progression. You say, how do I invite you? Simply email me, info@EddieConnor.com. It's yours truly, Dr. Eddie, your main man, 100 grand, your brother, and I mean that, from another mother. Family has been fun, but you know a brother got to run. But I want you to know it's been a privilege and a pleasure, a treat and a treasure, a joy beyond measure. But I want you, yes you, to remember to keep the faith and believe it's going to be bigger, better, brighter, peace, and a whole lot of love. Keep soaring higher. So what's your ETA? Your destiny is waiting for you to launch into your next dimension. You know, I realize one of the greatest gifts that a teacher can give you is speed. What do I mean? They can take what they've learned in decades and give it to you in days, moments, and months, and give it to you and instruct you in minutes. This is exactly what I do in my Eagles community. I want you to go to theeaglesacademy.com right now to get access to my private mentorship group where I coach, teach, train, mentor you to transform your thinking by increasing your ideas, your impact, and your influence. You need to know that you were created to soar into more and become more. I want to be your coach. I want to be your tour guide to help you to navigate the landscape of your potential and take you to a place within yourself that you can't go by yourself. It's your time to move into new realms of abundance, to reimagine, reshape, rethink your life, and influence your future through your spiritual gifts, development of your purpose, the emotional intelligence, relational intelligence, business acumen, to maximize your marketplace mandate, and so much more. And our Eagles community is where we learn, we lead, we laugh, and we love on a greater level. I want you to aspire higher with us. Get your wings to win, and let's soar into more at theeaglesacademy.com. Can't wait to see your face in our digital space.